15 years ago, former Lebanon Prime Minister Rafik Hariri was assassinated. A special court convened by the United Nations has delivered its verdict in that case. Out of the 4 suspects, only 1 has been found guilty. The judges have found no evidence against Hezbollah leaders in Syria. Hariri's killing had led to violent protests. A repeat was expected after the verdict, but the recent blast in Beirut has kept the issue from turning into a Sunni versus Shia battle.
On the morning of February 14, 2005, former Prime Minister of Lebanon, Rafik Hariri, was travelling in a motorcade near Beirut's St. George Hotel. Moments later, a bomb concealed in a van exploded. The blast killed Hariri and 21 others. 15 years later, a special United Nations court has delivered the verdict. Out of the 4 suspects, only 1 has been found guilty. No evidence has been found against militant group Hezbollah.
The trial chamber is of the view that Syria and Hezbollah may have had motives to eliminate Mr. Hariri and some of his political allies. However, there was no evidence that the Hezbollah leadership had any involvement in Mr. Hariri's murder, and there is no direct evidence of Syrian involvement in it.
Hariri was one of Lebanon's prominent Sunni politicians. Following his killing, thousands of people protested, claiming that the Shia militant group Hezbollah and its backer Syria were the culprits. Syria had occupied parts of Lebanon since 1976, after civil war broke out. Hariri, at the time of his death, had been urging Syria to withdraw its troops. The tribunal verdict has overturned long-standing suspicions on Hezbollah, but has snatched the hope of justice for victims.
It still upsets me. Talking about it bothers me, especially when I see images on TV or YouTube played over and over. It takes me back 15 years and I relive the moment. February 14th is no longer about Valentine's Day. It is the anniversary of death of a crime.
Hariri's assassination led to the withdrawal of Syrian forces from Lebanon, but Hezbollah is present in every walk of life. Hariri's son Saad Hariri himself served 2 terms as the Prime Minister with the Hezbollah's support. The verdict has lost some of its significance, with more urgent issues taking over: the pandemic, economic collapse, and unemployment. Then the blast in Beirut.
With all due respect to the deceased, and I do want to know what the verdict is and everything, but what matters now in this present moment is who did this to us, because this touched more people than what had happened back then. Well, again, with all due respect to the deceased, but this for me matters more.
The massive explosion on August 4 killed more than 150 people. Many became homeless. Did the explosion save Lebanon from violence following the verdict? Most likely. The court says the assassination was a political act. To people, it was personal, a war between the Sunnis and Shias that has torn the country apart. But now there are more pressing issues that concern the Lebanese. Bureau Report, WION, World is One.